Welcome back. Now, in order to create a custom GPT and to add it to the store, you are going to need to have a GPT Plus account. That means then that you'll need to check your plan. And then what you'll need to do is you'll need to click the link that says My Plan. You can either upgrade to the Plus plan or the Team plan if you're going to be collaborating with other individuals on the creation of your custom GPTs. If you are a single creator, you'll likely use the Plus account. And if you're working inside of a company or a team, you're likely to use the team account. And as you can see, the team account will allow you to share your GPTs in a workspace with other individuals that are connected to you via your ChatGPT team. Once you've upgraded to ChatGPT Plus, you'll notice that you have access to the highest level of ChatGPT, which as of the recording of this video is GPT-4. It may be different by the time you see this video. And then you can also use a lower version of GPT. And as you can see here, as of the recording of this video, it's GPT 3.5. You will also have access to the ChatGPT plugin store. And what you'll notice is that you'll see some functions that are in GPT form that are also in plugin form, as plugins are an extension of ChatGPT, just as are GPTs. Now, if you are coming to use a GPT, in some cases, it may be beneficial to use a plugin if the GPT does not seem to work properly. However, the focus of OpenAI currently is for you to use the GPT store in order to find different connections to ChatGPT and to extend its capability. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to look at the GPT store, you're going to want to go to the link in your left side menu, which as of the recording of this video says Explore GPTs. Now again, it may be different by the time you see this video. That's going to open up into the GPT area, and you're going to see publicly available GPTs. Now, ChatGPT will make some GPTs visible on its home page. You will see a trending section, those that are popular and being used. You'll see those that have been created by ChatGPT. You'll have those that interact with the DALL-E image engine. You'll see those that are writing oriented. You will see those that are oriented toward productivity. You will see some that are oriented toward research and analysis. So undoubtedly, what you will see is you will see this section expand. In each one of these sections, you'll be able to see it, click a See More button, and you'll be able to see more GPTs that are available as being classified in this area. You can also browse the GPTs across the top. One important way of being able to search for a GPT is to search through the public GPTs and to search for them based on the way you want to use ChatGPT. You will see just by typing in search results, you will see certain search results come to the top that are being made based on the keywords that you are writing in. This is an important element to remember as you are creating your own GPT for the public GPT store. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you are looking for a specific way of how to extend the use of ChatGPT, you can come to the GPT store, and what you can do is you can type in your search term based on how you want to use ChatGPT, or even if you know of an application, you can search for it. For example, if you were to type in the word Canva, what you'll see is that Canva.com does have its own custom GPT. If you were to type in the term Zapier, one of the things you'll notice is from the third-party cloud-based connector is that Zapier.com has its own GPT, but you also have other individuals that are using resources from Zapier in order to create their own GPT. You can type in the search phrase of what you are most interested in, and you may see GPTs that are available. In some cases, you may not see GPTs, and that may be an opportunity for you to create your own GPT based on a specific search phrase. So in some cases, to understand search and the current capabilities of the GPT store, it's a good idea to go to the GPT store and to first use it as you would a search engine, typing in your phrase to see what GPTs are available that might be related and how the connections are made to your search term. You can type in a function that you may want to use to manipulate digital information. If you type in that search phrase, you will see all of the related GPTs that you may be able to use to undertake the function that you have set forth. So whatever your search function, you want to go to the search term. You want to use the GPT store and the search bar in order to determine whether what you're looking to do is going to be available in ChatGPT, and you want to think in terms of both information that you want as well as functions that you want to undertake. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, to create your own GPT for the GPT store, you're going to go to the Create button. But it's a good idea to go to ChatGPT and to then go to the latest version and to ask ChatGPT how you need to plan out the GPT that you are actually going to be doing. Now, there will be a wizard that will allow you to gather materials when you are creating your GPT, but to have those materials ready in the creation process will allow you to create more effectively. And so you can ask ChatGPT what kind of documents you may want to upload in order to create an effective GPT. Now, there is no magic to writing this prompt in order to ask ChatGPT what materials you are going to need. And basically, we're going to ask ChatGPT what kind of material will be helpful in order to create the GPT that we want to create. And so we're going to click Enter. And it's here where you can iterate with the chatbot to determine what kind of input you are going to provide the chatbot in order to create your GPT. Another question that may be helpful to ask is what kind of input you should require from the user of the custom GPT. And you can click Enter, and you can ask ChatGPT this question. And as you become more experienced in creating GPTs, this stage will be most important. You'll be able to determine whether you want to ask the chatbot to ask the user to upload documents, and you can go through the planning process in a pre-creation stage, and you want to use the data from this pre-creation stage when you go to the actual creation process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. When you are planning out the creation of your GPT, one of the things you'll notice is that you will have the ability to upload files to the knowledge section. These are files that your GPT and your user will interact with in order to deliver the result that you want your GPT to deliver. Now, understanding there are specific file types that you can upload to the knowledge section, and there are limits to the size of those files determined by OpenAI. Now, each knowledge section in a specific GPT can have a maximum of 20 files, and each of those files cannot exceed 512 megabytes. And across all of your GPTs for your entire account, your file uploads should not exceed 100 gigabytes. And this is important because as of the recording of this video, there are no limits to the number of GPTs that you can create. The limits occur when you begin to use the knowledge section in order to upload files for your GPT to use. Now, there will always be current thinking about the kinds of activity that OpenAI is doing as improvements are always being made. And as of this recording, there are certain kinds of files that will perform better in your GPT than others will. So it's a good idea to cross-reference the current thinking using both search engines as well as the OpenAI community. And many of those posts you will see in the search results for specific searches that you are doing to determine how to create an effective GPT. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to create a GPT, you're going to click on this button that says Create. That's going to bring you into a new screen to create your own GPT. Now, you may see the Configure tab by default. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click over to the Create side, and you will then be inside of the GPT Builder. And what you'll then want to do is you'll want to start the process of giving ChatGPT instructions on what you want the GPT to do. And you'll see some basic elements here as to what you want to enter into ChatGPT. And what you're going to see is that the GPT Builder will then iterate with you based on what you want your GPT to do. Now, if you can be as detailed as you possibly can in this initial statement, this will help the GPT to determine what it is that you want the GPT to do and how you want it to be. We're going to click Enter, even though this level of instruction is probably not enough to give the GPT what it needs to create an effective GPT. And this is an iterative process. So ChatGPT will consider what it is that you want to do. And then it will then return with a query as to what it needs to know from you in order to create the GPT that you want. Typically, ChatGPT will suggest a name. If you don't like the name that it suggests to you, you can then suggest a name back to ChatGPT. Once you do that, you can then click enter and you can suggest the name back to ChatGPT. What will then happen is ChatGPT will generate a profile picture for your GPT. And if you like the profile photo that it comes up with, you can say that you don't want any more changes and its profile picture is acceptable to you. And so that is what we will do. We will say that the profile picture is acceptable. What we're going to do is stop the video here and we're going to pick it up from the stage of the creation area of the GPT builder. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Depending on how you best learn and implement processes, you may want to read the help screen that discusses what a GPT builder is in the OpenAI help documents area. Basically, it explains that the GPT builder is a custom GPT designed to help you to create a custom GPT. And it's in this section where ChatGPT discusses what it tells the GPT builder to do to prompt you to help you to create an effective GPT. It has the walkthrough steps that you are actually going to experience as you create your GPT. And the way to look at this particular help screen is that it is a model for how you may want to create your GPT to walk the user through the process you want them to accomplish by using your GPT. So if you can go through the process and then use this process in order to imitate it to create your own GPT, it may work well for you to create an effective GPT for your users. And as you can see, the GPT Builder is designed to use a conversational interface so that you don't have to manually fill out all of the configuration fields. So by starting out on the creation side, you're basically making it so that you don't have to manually go through the configuration process to determine how you want your GPT to behave. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you read the help screen, you'll notice then that what the GPT Builder is doing is it is following its own script. And it's basically trying to assist you in determining the limits and capabilities of the GPT that you are creating. And this question may be asked differently to you for different GPTs that you're creating, or for different individuals you may be creating the GPT for. And because this is an iterative process, this stage of determining the roles and goals may last one question, or it may last several questions, but you need to iterate with the chatbot in order to determine this. And you will see that the GPT is following its own script for helping you to determine major areas of roles and goals, constraints, guideline clarifications, and personalization. And what the GPT Builder is going to do is it's going to guide you through each of these areas step by step. So we can expect that we're first going to determine the role and goal based again on the help screen that outlines the instructions given to the GPT Builder. And so you will write in what the GPT should be doing in terms of its role and goal. And what the GPT Builder will then do, it will take your reply and it will determine what else it needs to know in order to fulfill that section. And so what the GPT Builder now wants to do is to determine constraints. And we will pick that up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. As stated in the previous video, from the GPT help screen, the GPT Builder is following a script. It's taking you through major areas to determine the role and goal of your GPT, then constraints, then guidelines, clarification, and personalization. And so your GPT Builder is going to take you through one or a series of questions to determine the constraints for your GPT. And so you'll need to iterate with the chatbot in order to do that. And so we have created our iteration, and then our response will be taken by the chatbot in order to generate the next iteration. So we will provide the chatbot more of its information that it is requesting. And depending on how it moves through the 5 steps, you will complete the process, and then the GPT Builder will then be ready for you to begin the testing process of your GPT. And we will pick that up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, the GPT builder will signal to you when it's time for you to begin testing your GPT, and you're going to do this in the preview area in the right side panel. And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to go through the process as if you are your customer. And so you can see one of the sample prompts here, and you can determine if this is something that the person using the GPT would actually use. We're going to click this into the GPT, and then the GPT is going to give us what the user would actually see. We're now going to act as the user, and we're going to upload a document. And we're now going to send the message, and we're going to see what the GPT is going to do with our information. And as you can see, the GPT basically did what we wanted it to do with this very simple task. The user can upload a document. The GPT will then interact with that document. It will then do it according to the specifications of the individual using the GPT. And so we could test it one more time to determine if the GPT is going to behave properly. And so we're going to click our plain language query and click send. And we're going to see how the GPT performs with our upload. And as you can see, the GPT is performing what we want it to do. So basically, we have now completed the playground step. We will now tell the GPT that it is performing in the way that we want it to be. We will pick it up from that point in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, in this case, our GPT has performed in the way that we expected it and the way that we wanted it. However, if it did not, we would make any changes by telling the GPT builder about the changes or the refinements we feel that the GPT builder needs to make. We're going to add in a refinement here in this area. Once you have your refinement, you can then send your refinement to the GPT builder. And so we can then go to the preview pane and we can run a second test. So we're going to enter the prompt starter, and then we're going to upload a document. We're now going to send our upload. And the refinement is made according to our specifications. So now what we can do is we can go and tell the GPT builder that the model is acting appropriately. And we'll click enter. And so once you have made your refinements inside of the GPT builder, you are then ready to go over to the configuration tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. It's a good idea to review the information from the help screen so you can determine what OpenAI says about the configure tab and the 6 elements that you can update. We are now going to click configure so that we can go over to the configure tab. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is that you can change the name of your GPT if you change your mind. And if you click on top of the image, what you'll notice is that it is clickable. And that's because if you want to change the image, you can change it here. If you click on top of the image, you'll notice that you can upload a new photo, or you can use the DALL-E engine in order to create a different photo. You can update the information that the customer will see in the description. What you will also see here in the instructions area is that you have more space to add more clarification. And so if you want to add further refinement to what the model is and what it does, you can do so here in the instructions area. You can add in additional conversation starters, and you'll notice here that you can write them in here in this area. And so as you begin to type in to the conversation starters, you'll notice that another one is going to appear here in this area. Once you have completed working with conversation starters, you can X out of the last one, and you can go to the knowledge section. And the next section will be the knowledge section, and we will do that in a separate video. One of the things you'll notice is that you can change, add to, or take away from some of the capabilities of your model. You can add in web browsing. You can add in image creation. If you want to interpret certain kinds of files, you can click this area and to allow that inside of your model. When you add in an action, what you can do is you can add in elements from different API if you want your GPT to use other services that are cloud-based and have an API. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, whenever you upload files to your GPT, you're going to interact with the instructions area to determine exactly how that document or that knowledge is going to be used. For example, if we upload a document or a series of documents, we are then going to need to go to our instructions area, and we're then going to need to give context to that document or documents in the instructions area. And so we give the GPT instructions. We state that the document should be used in a specific way, and we state exactly how it should be used inside of our model. And so what the GPT will then do, it will then use our document, but it will use it according to our specifications. So however you choose to upload files to the knowledge area, make sure to then update your instructions to determine how the GPT will interact with that document. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You should now have a complete draft GPT if you have followed through all of the steps. What you can now do is you can go to this green button. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that you will have a specific name associated with your GPT, and your GPT is going to be public. And you will see an edit pencil here, and what you can do is you can click on that edit pencil. You will then be taken to your builder profile. You're going to notice the name, and that name is going to be the one associated with your GPT. And if you have a verified website, you will see that also. But it's quite possible that you don't want your name to appear publicly in your GPT. And so if you go to this area, you'll notice that the name is populated from your billing details. And you can make changes to those billing details, but they'll need to be made inside of your ChatGPT account. You're going to go to this area and you're going to click on your profile. You will then click on My Plan. And if you are using custom GPTs, you already have a ChatGPT Plus subscription, you're going to click on this link that says Manage My Subscription. You will then see your billing area. Inside of your billing information, you're going to see an edit pencil here that says Update Information. You can click on that edit pencil. And it's here where you can change your billing name and information so that it will appear differently in your GPT. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Come back. Now, one of the processes you're going to need to go through in order to finalize your GPT is to go and click on this area that says verify a domain. Now, there are going to be some elements that are grayed out because a domain name has already been verified for this account. What you're going to need to do is to click this button. You are then going to need to write in the domain name. You will then need to click submit. And what you'll then see is that there's going to be an element here that you're going to need to place at your domain name register inside of a text record. In some cases, it may take up to 48 hours for the domain name to propagate. In other cases, the changes will show up right away. And in preparation for this video, the domain name that is shown verified within 1 hour. So you will need this process in order to make your GPT public and to be seen in the GPT store. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Once we have verified our domain and we have set up our builder profile, what we can now do is we can save the GPT so that it will appear publicly in the GPT store. We can go to this area and click on this save button, and you're going to have three choices. You can make it available only to you. You can make it available to the individuals that have the link that you give to them, or you can make it available to everyone. And as you can see, when you hover in this area, ChatGPT will tell you that your GPT will then appear in the Explore GPT page. Now again, what you may need to do is you may need to determine what you want your category to be. And what ChatGPT says is that the GPT may appear in the category on the Explore page. Once we've gone through this process, we're then going to click Confirm. And our GPT has now been published publicly. And if we go to the GPT area and we type in the first few words of our GPT, we will see that it is searchable and available here in this area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you can modify or delete any of the GPTs that you have available inside of ChatGPT. whether those GPTs are in the GPT store or not. For example, you may find that some of your GPTs may cover GPTs that you created previously. If that's the case, what you can do is you can go to this area, and all you'll need to do is to click this link that says Delete GPT. What you can also do is to modify an existing GPT. So for example, we can click on Edit GPT, and what we can do is we can add to this GPT elements that we might think are more relevant. We can upload new files. We can add in new capability. For example, we can add in code interpreter to allow more interaction with files. If we upload new files, what we'll need to do, of course, is we'll need to give ChatGPT new instructions so it will know how to use the files in interacting with the user. So you can add in plain language query when you are going to add in instructions. So you can make changes to existing GPTs. You can either delete those GPTs or you can update the GPTs. You can also change the status of the GPTs by going to the Save button. And we can then make the information available to a different audience, either publicly or anyone with the link. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, you may find that adding an API to your GPT may be beyond your capability in terms of programming. ChatGPT does have tools that may help you to overcome any limitation you might have to add an API to your existing GPT. For example, assuming we were to go in and edit a GPT, and we scroll down to the bottom, and we look at this area that says create a new action. You may see an element here that says get help from Actions GPT. You can click that area. That's going to open up into a GPT. And so what you can then begin to do is to iterate with this GPT to determine how you might add an API to your GPT. So you can write in a plain language query about what you want to do in terms of the API. Now, the key to understanding how to navigate this is that you'll need to keep iterating with the chatbot until you understand exactly how to add the API to your individual GPT. So you'll want to use the Actions GPT to bridge any deficiency you might have in terms of adding an API to a GPT or any other element. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the ways to enhance your GPT is to ask ChatGPT. And what you can do is you can go into the create area. And what you can then do is you can then iterate with Chatbot about how you might improve the model that you have created. And so you can go back and you can ask plain language queries because it is interacting with ChatGPT. And so you'll see that ChatGPT will give you hints and clues on things that you can do to enhance your model, whether you choose to enable different elements and add different elements to your instructions. And so you do want to go through every element that you are adding to your model, and you want to get ChatGPT to give you clues on things that you can do, again, to improve what it is that you are doing. And its comments will be model and contextually relevant. And so what you want to do is you want to integrate its recommendations where you can. So wherever you can go back and you can improve the model to make it more engaging, you'll want to do it. And to do that, you'll want to go back to the create side and ask for clues about things that you can do on the configure side. And you can ask the creation side to add in different elements to your existing model. And so once we have our changes, what we can then do is we can go to this area. We can then update our model with the changes. And your updated GPT will then be ready. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, obviously, the more visible that your GPT is to individuals searching the store, the more people that will select your GPT and engage with it. Now, as of the recording of this video, monetization that may come from OpenAI with respect to the GPT store will be based on user engagement. So getting individuals to use your GPT will be one of the most important elements in the GPT store. And that means then that right alongside of making sure that your elements are going to be optimized, not only for the GPT store, but possibly also for the search engines, What will be important will be the GPT's responses, and getting those responses on a regular basis is likely to be the element that make you more findable. So one of the best strategies in terms of making sure that your GPT will be monetizable at the point at which the GPT store will be active will be making sure that individuals are engaging with your content. And this is an important element from OpenAI or ChatGPT. You'll want to make sure that you are not overusing or stuffing keywords or anything that can be construed as doing so with your GPT. Optimization has not been stated openly by OpenAI, and so part of being found may not be fully clear in the near future. So it's a good idea to focus on engagement as well as making sure that all the elements are properly optimized, including the name, the description, the welcome message, and any promotional material. And you will be able to do all those things on the configure side. One way to assist you would be to use the create side in order to enhance or improve your optimization for both search engines and the configure tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.